So during the meeting, if you do want to ask a question, at the bottom of Zoom, you'll see the word reactions, and you can just click and it says raise hand. So you can raise your hand. I'm the moderator, so I will look for those hands. But if I don't see it, then one of my other colleagues, be it Brian, Lorraine, Clint, or Scott, can say, hey, we've got a hand here. And then after you've spoken, then just you can lower your hand. um, we've asked people actually now you can turn off your cameras if you haven't done that already. It just does help with the bandwidth for folks and to mute yourself just in case there's some background noise. Um, you can also, if you'd like to ask a question, as some people have just started to put a little bit of information in the chat, please feel free to do that as well. If it's just easier to type out your question, and then I'll make sure that those questions are acknowledged. And that's it. Brian's going to take questions, and I'll just confirm, Brian, after each specific agenda item, you'll take questions on that. Is that correct?
That's correct. It is a lengthy agenda. A lot of it is repetitive, and most people that have read the agenda are familiar with most of the items. There obviously is some motions that we need to pass, but I'm going to go through the meeting fairly quickly. But certainly at any point, anybody wants to get into a particular area and discuss it, that's what we're here for. So let's move on.
And you'll have any new business at the end, right?
That's correct.
Great. So there are 5 or 6 different motions that we need to vote on. And for voting, it's for those people who are paid members. And there is just one, if there's, for example, one paid membership per household, then it'll be one person who votes. Um, if you have a few people in your household who have paid for a membership, when I do this poll, it only allows one person to vote. So someone else, if you wish, you can say, hey, I'm also voting in favor or against, or you can also put it in the chat. So that's just a little new thing this year is these online polls. So we're going to see how it goes. And Brian, over to you for the motion to approve the minutes.
Yes, I've included a link of the minutes from the last AGM a year ago in 2024. If we could have a mover and a seconder, we'll approve those minutes.
Oopsie, hold on. Hold on. Sorry, this is me trying to navigate all this. Okay. Um, can someone see, because I can't see the who has.
Could we have a mover, please, for that motion to approve the minutes from the 2024 AGM?
Me. My sister, Jane Bennett.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's on got their mics muted, so I'll second Scott Ross.
Thank you, Scott. So this is a first for us here. We're going to be launching a poll, and you can vote to approve the minutes.
Very slick there, Paige. Thank you very much. Yes.
We're giving it a shot here. Oh, look at this. Okay. We'll give about 5 more seconds if people would like to do. Is everyone figuring it out okay? Does anyone need any help with that? Okay. So I'm going to end the poll. It's obviously carried. Geez, look at that. Okay, great. Now I'll click out of that. Okay, that was a first for us. That was a first. Thanks very much.
Yes, I'm going to ask our treasurer, Lorraine Poisson, to present the financial report for 2024 and go through various background there, if you would, Lorraine.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well this evening. So I'm going to be presenting the financial report for 2024. So on the next slide, there's a year-over-year comparison. And we're going to take a look at what happened in 2024. So in 2024, we started the year on a good solid footing with just over 20,000 in the bank. We hired 2 students, Landon and Marcus. who worked 30 hours a week, and they were paid $17 an hour. Our funding came from the Canada Summer Jobs Grant for one position. And then we had Ontario Parks at $3,500. And then we had our membership dues and donations that were received. So our revenue for 2024 was $14,868. On the expense side of things, of course, the most expensive thing that we do is run the student program, and that's usually about $10,000 to $11,000 a year. After that, it's our liability insurance. And our other costs are listed there: administration costs, sponsorship of the Mattawa canoe race, t-shirts and hats that were purchased. We introduced a new logo. I had some training for bookkeeping in terms of QuickBooks, and we made a donation to KBRP to help with their startup costs. So we ended the year with a slight loss at $1,778, but we ended the year with just over $19,000 in the bank. So we continue to have a good, stable position thanks to the grants that we receive and the membership dues that we collect. So Brian, I'll pass it over to you to explain how we did our financial review for 2024.
Yes, last year, you recall, we passed the bylaw to conform ourselves to the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. And that act requires financial records to be reviewed annually, either by a CPA or, if approved, by a peer review. Mike Myers, who was with us for many, many years, volunteering his time to do the financial review as a CPA, retired, and we didn't have any capability of bringing anybody on. We chose not to spend approximately $750 for a CPA, considering that we're well within this. Any corporation less than 100,000 in revenue can opt to go with a peer review. And that's what we did. We had a very capable past executive of the LTCA and a senior business person in North Bay, Barry Pond, who said that he would gladly take that on. So Lorraine presented him with all the financial records, answered any questions that he had, and he reviewed it, as you will see, and provided a signed statement that he, as you can read there. So we did conform with the act. We didn't get the authorization to do that because of the timing of our last AGM, but in principle, I think we're well covered there, and we will be moving ahead with looking after that circumstance in 2025. So we do need approvals for the financial statement for 2024 and also the peer reviewers report for 2024. So again, we'll require a mover of that motion.
It's Ken Davies. I move that motion.
Thank you, Ken. We have a seconder?
I'll second it, Brian Lynn Heaney.
Yes, thank you, Lynn. So we have a mover and a seconder. We'll put the motion to approve.
Yeah, here we go. There you go.
Do you approve the financial statements for 2024?
We'll give about 10 more seconds.
As everyone can see in the agenda, we gave quite a background on membership from the previous years, what our cash on hand was, what our net income on hand was. We also noted that each June Our treasurer files a T2 short return with the CRA, and we received notice back that that has been filed and a zero balance owing. And we've also continued our membership at $35 a year since 2016. So the background material is there over and above what Lorraine has shown you. So the results of the vote.
It was carried 21 votes out of 21 approved.
Okay, item number 6. We are proposing to get the formal approval for a peer review for the 2025 financials. Just a little bit of background on that. Barry Pond has agreed to carry on. We're doing this out of caution, not caution, but the fact is that somebody with a certified professional accountant has recently come forward in the last week or so offering her services to do that. So that's not been absolutely confirmed yet, but we think it will be. And if that's the case, then we will use the CPA to do it as a proper audit rather than the peer review. But I do think it prudent to put the peer review forward and have it approved. And also we'll bring the motion to reappoint Barry for 2025. So do we have a mover to accept the peer review report that you just saw?
Excuse me. Say that again, Brian. Barry would do it for 25, and then it would be at this time that we would vote as to whether we would accept the CPA.
No, we have the right to engage a CPA without a motion, to my reading of it. But we do have to have a motion to do a peer review if we felt that that was needed. So and I must say, Mary Mars, who's on her voice there, she is the one that helped recruit a potential CPA to look after it. And I thank Mary for that. But this is just kind of, we're covering both bases here, and that's the reason. But we're quite
I bring Mrs. McCoubrey's apology. She had every intent of being at her cottage today, but one of her children took very ill today and is in hospital, so she's unable to be at this meeting.
Yes, and I was in communication with her today and told her don't rush. You can read the recordings. Lorraine will provide her all the background material she needs to determine whether this is a good fit for her to volunteer. So basically, I think we have everything covered here, and we just need the motions to have on file approved that we've approved the past report, and also we're going to appoint Barry again if in fact he is needed. So where do we stand there, Paige?
So at this point, we need someone please to move this motion and a second, and then we'll vote.
Dennis Chadburn, I'll move.
Dennis Chadburn, great.
And it's Alan Ross. I'll second it.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay, here we go with the fancy poll. Hold on. Okay, the poll's there to go. Have about 10 more seconds. Okay, the results are that 19 out of 20 have voted yes, and one person has abstained. Great.
Yes, and that is
Okay.
that report by Barry was dated May 24th, 2025, because it's to be done after all the financials have been done from by the treasurer for the previous year. So it's after the fact that he goes through that and provides that report. And that's the same if it was a CPA as well. It's the year after that the report is provided to us. We move on to the extraordinary resolution. And this again, as I say, is to appoint Barry Pond as a peer reviewer for the 2025 financials, with the provision that if we do secure a CPA, we will utilize that volunteer. So we can put that motion, if we could have a mover, please.
I'll move it, Mary Mars.
Thank you, Mary.
I'll second. Yolanda Cameron.
Okay, and for this one, we do need to have 80% to pass the resolution.
Yes.
So here's the poll. Okay, you can vote. I'm liking this poll thing.
Yes.
There's a quick response too. Okay, well, we have 20 of 20, 21, okay. We'll wait 5 more seconds.
And I want to thank Barry Pond again for coming forward when we were needing that requirement to be fulfilled, and he did that very capably, but he may be, Barry may be replaced. Sure, joyfully on his part, but it's very good to have done that for us. The results,
That was approved. 21 of 21 voted yes.
excellent, thank you. Item number 8 is our membership report, and we have some good news certainly on that front from Lorraine Poisson, and here is the details. Lorraine, if you want to go through them.
Sure. So I put this slide together. So the first section is just some background on just how much we collect in terms of selling memberships and the donations that we receive. So for this year, we have 159 members to date. And with those membership dues and donations, we've collected just over $7,000. And then I've listed there the previous years, the memberships and the associated money that has been collected. Below that, we're starting to collect some statistics on our memberships. So last year we sold 162, 153 were returning members. We had 9 new members. And then we also take a look at how many memberships that the students sell. And so for last year, we attributed 62 memberships to their work and the walk and talks, as you say, as we call it, as they tour the lake and talk about the LTCA and sell memberships. And below that, this is a list that answers the question, where do your membership dollars go? So the fixed costs that we have are liability insurance, the dues that we pay to FOCA, administrative costs, and of course the student program. And then varying from year to year, we have publicity, t-shirts and hats, sponsorship, and donations such as to the KBRP project. And new this year, we have an LTCA boat, so we now pay additional insurance for that and maintenance. And then coming up for next year, the hazard markers, the purchase of those and the maintenance of those. So that is just a little snapshot of our membership and where your dollars go. And we just like to thank everyone for your support.
Our place is on Kibascong Bay, but I don't know what the KBRP is about. Could somebody give me information?
Yes, we will be getting to that. That's the Kibascong Bay Rehabilitation Project, and that's something that we're involved in, not as the first primary group, but we do support it, and I will be coming to that with item number 13, Mary.
Okay, thanks, Brian. That's it. And thank you, everyone.
So this year, Lorraine, will you be actually sending out another invoice for anybody that may not have been covered, or is that we've done what we can now?
Well, we're at 159. It would be great if we had a few more. Yes, I can look at the outstanding invoices and resend those to remind people in case they would like to support us again this year.
Yes. And we've certainly picked up new members again this year, which is very encouraging. And yes, I think last year was we were at 162. So hopefully we can continue to grow and exceed the previous year. But good work, everyone involved, including Hayden, Landon, and Lorraine for handling the membership. So I think most of existing members know that we do get a grant from Ontario Parks for $3,500 a year. It's really a small portion of the total costs that we incur in maintaining the Mattawa River Provincial Park. But it's all that they can afford in their budget, because the Mattawa River Provincial Park is a non-operating park. It's basically in a property, but there's no real funds put towards it. It's basically a legal entity, but that's just the way it is. So we've had a long-standing agreement with Ontario Parks, and they renew it faithfully every year, which we appreciate. We do sign an agreement with them to maintain various points on the lake that are within the park. Obviously, the Talon chutes, Blanchard's Landing, Grass Wells, a couple of islands, Medora, Blueberry, Black Bay, and also the Pine Lake Portage. So we spend 2 days a week doing that work, along with other cleanup on the lake as well. This year we were surprisingly, I always have applied for 2 Canada Summer Jobs positions. Last year we got 1 approved, but this year, surprisingly, and good fortune for us, is they approved both students. So that basically, between the $3,500 from the Ontario Parks and the 100% coverage of the students' fees or students' wages, we actually break even on that proposal. We do have to obviously have boat costs and garbage disposal and that kind of thing, but it's a real win-win for us. It's hugely important. And as many of you recall, wasn't 7 or 8 years ago, our year-end budget balance was in the order of $6,000 or $7,000. And it's primarily because of Canada Summer Jobs that we've now got up to the $20,000 range at year end and managed to continue that. So we're hopeful for next year, but I'm negative in me says with all the cutbacks coming to federal and provincial governments, particularly the federal, we're going to have our work cut out to get both approved. I have met with our new MP, Pauline Rochefort. She is a big backer of Canada Summer Jobs. She used to be the former Reeve of East Ferris. She knows how important it is for youth in the rural area to get employment during the summer. In fact, she wasn't able to come down last Friday herself. She had another engagement in the city, but she did send her constituency manager, Stu Campaign, down. He chatted with myself and the 2 students, reviewed what they do, had a photo op, and he assured us that they will certainly be pushing and hopefully recommending us again for Canada Summer Jobs. So that is huge. If you are talking to MP Pauline Rochefort, you put that pitch in, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for next year. Item number 10 is the donation of a boat and motor by Mary Farmer, one of our longtime members on Kibascong Bay. Mary came to us through Dave Humphreys and said she'd like to donate excellent 14-foot Spectrum aluminum boat and a motor. And we accepted that offer for a couple of reasons. Previously, we always relied on the students. That was a job qualification that they must provide at least a 10 horsepower motor and boat to carry out their duties. We've always felt that that limits the number of students that would be eligible. And so this donation is very much appreciated. It's worked out well. They have been using it the last pretty well 3 to 4 weeks. There was a few little bugs in the engine that we've now looked after, thanks to Dave Humphrey. Dave gives us a terrific service. We appreciate it. And we did have some costs of oars and seats and so on, but the students quite like it as well as we do. So thank you, Mary, again. We got our logo on the side. Everybody knows when the students are arriving now. And so that is item number 10. I'm going to call on Clint Wilson to talk about summer students this year. Introduce them. I think only maybe one of them will be with us tonight. They provided an interim or final report. The report was excellent. I hope everybody took the time to read it. It was very thorough, very well written, backed up by a lot of photographs and comments from our members. So if you haven't read it, there it is. And I'll let Clint comment as to what's gone on this year and the role of both Landon and Hayden getting things done for us.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. Landon and Hayden have actually had a great summer this year. I'm really pleased with the way it's worked out. They've completely done the entire lake in terms of the walk and talks, and are now they have the last couple of days where they're working through repeating and calling on people who they missed the first time, right? And I won't go through all the maintenance sites because you did that earlier. But in addition to the regular sites, they've also identified the GPS coordinates and helped lay the groundwork for all the hazard buoy markers that we're looking at setting up for next year. And Brian's going to be purchasing. In addition, they've also found a number of hazards on the lake and helped us out so that we don't hit them with our boats, right? Both replacing some of the informal ones that washed away in some of the big storms we had earlier. And I think they've really enjoyed, talking to all the cottagers. And they also, find out, what the issues are, both good and bad, and what people's concerns are on the lake. Landon couldn't make it tonight, but we do have Hayden. Hayden, if you want to say hello and say a few words, just unmute yourself there.
Yeah. Sorry about the name not being mine, just family computer here. Yeah, this year's it's been really fun for me. I know it has been for Landon too. We've got to talk with a lot of people from around the lake and hear different opinions on different things. I know the water level was the biggest concern. But other than that, the response has been good. A few complaints here and there, and all the campsites have been relatively clean this year, except for after long weekends, but that's to be expected. Yeah, exactly. And I think the nice thing with the students are like a concrete example of the LTCA at work. And there's sometimes no substitute for having a chat with somebody at your doorstep, right? And helping bring everybody together and letting them know that LTCA is out there doing something. And we've been very fortunate this year with the replacement of the government dock. So that's been incredibly busy, as many of you would know, right? And water levels, both at the beginning, I know both when Landon and Hayden started out, they started in James Bay, and we had a prolonged period of very high water
where the water was at or above the ministry's upper level. And then, of course, we've had some extremely low levels as well. And of course, the sediment layering over at the government dock and at the marina has been an issue for boating, right? So, and our students have talked with people about that and listened to their comments and concerns, including boat wake and also the hazard markers. So some of the information that we've acted upon came from talking to people at doorsteps in terms of where there were shoals on the lake, and maybe we should look at putting a marker.
Could I just mention something that came
Yep.
up when we talked to some people?
Sure, of course.
Apparently some people did not know, which is understandable because it isn't really marked who put it there. But from what we have talked to people from, some people did not know that Blueberry Island was actually marked off by the MNR for not being overnight camping. There was a couple people we talked to who thought it was the LTCA, and they were a bit, I don't know what word to call it, aggravated about that. And we had to explain to them that it was the MNR who did it. So if anybody here didn't know that, it was the MNR.
Right. And the reason they did that, we actually met twice this year, very surprisingly. Park wardens who are based out of Huntsville, which is where I'm based out of now as well. But they have a required setback for thunderboxes, like the outhouse facility, from the water. And if an island doesn't meet that required setback, they just sign it as no camping. So day use is fine as far as they're concerned, but they're not going to allow camping. Of course, enforcement is another issue because there's limited enforcement, right? Being a non-operating park, but I know Blueberry in the past. I've camped on Blueberry, and at sometimes it would be littered with toilet paper over the whole island. Those were comments we would get a number of years ago to our students, and this year our students are telling me that the island has been really clean, and same with the chutes for the most part as well, right? The chutes is now as well no camping. So as far as the MNRF is concerned, Grasswells is the official designated camping area on the lake.
Yeah, to touch on the chutes there. The start of the year, the first 2 weekends, I know, well, the start of the summer, the first 2 weekends, there was a lot of garbage there, especially in that where the water used to whirlpool and it made that hole in the rock formation.
Right. So the potholes at the bottom of the portage. Yes.
No, up where people go to jump.
Yeah, the one of the
yes.
rock face.
That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah, there used to
That's
be
always
great
been a
over
big
there.
garbage pail.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot, but now the last 2 weekends there was none. Maybe one cam, but that was it.
That's really
Actually,
great.
that 2 weeks, I noticed that 2 weeks ago when I was there was nothing in there. I assumed it was the summer students, but if that's just the public not littering, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of those potholes used to have a wire grate over the top, which had been installed many years ago, I guess, to try and keep people from putting garbage in there. But at that point, the wire grate served as a great bit of steel to smash your beer bottles on. And the students and I were constantly trying to fish out broken glass, right? Because so we actually removed the grate and just left them open. And that actually, at least we can get in there to clean it. And now, of course, there's very few bottles and mostly cans, right? So.
Yeah, when people see clean stuff, they tend to keep it clean. That's the difference, right?
Yep. Yeah. So, but Hayden, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is Hayden's first year, and he lives in Bonfield. And Landon's been, for the most part, picking him up at the government dock on work days. And Hayden's got a lot of great talents and skills, and we've put them to work.
There's also
Thank
an
you very
awful
much,
lot
Lynn.
of in the chat. There's an awful lot of very positive comments thanking the summer students for the work, and certainly to Clint and Brian and Lorraine for overseeing the whole program. So well done, everyone. Great job.
All right, we're
Yes,
done.
thanks very much, Hayden and
Thank
Clint.
you.
Yes, Clint, you don't realize that the supervisor deals with the students every day before they start to work. There's issues that come up during the day that he needs to get involved in. Of course, he reviews their paperwork and reports, reviews their progress. Clint has been doing this, it seems like forever, and we very much appreciate it because it's a very, very key part of what we do. And to have a supervisor like Clint keeps it rolling. I do wish, in fact, wish we had the history of all the students that have worked here. I think we must be up over 30 years of having two students.
Well,
I think we'd have the record somewhere, but it's because I've talked to some people that say, well, I want to be a LTCA student because people in my family were like 15 and 20, 25 years ago. So that
Yeah.
is really good to hear that. And they do a lot of good work for us. So thanks very much.
if you
Item
ask,
number
sorry, go ahead.
nope.
If you
Go ahead.
ask, if you ask Landon, he could tell you more than half the students because they're all from his bay.
Well, we open it up to everybody, including because of the requirements of having federal money. It's actually advertised on the job boards right across Ontario or right across Canada. So, but
Yeah.
it obviously helps a lot to be on the lake. So, item number 12. Well, we've had a lot of good news this year, but I think
They probably hear us.
May I ask a question? It's Mike Mars here. Does what I heard mean that the only camping place is now Grasswell?
That is the only official camping spot, right? And there are a few areas that have been designated no camping. Of course, there's loads of Crown land on the lake. So my sense is, and of course, there is no very little enforcement. So you could probably still camp on Crown land in places, but certain areas they've actually signed no camping. And Grasswells is the official designated camping and day use.
Can they actually say no camping on any Crown land? I don't think that they really have that authority. They can say it's not an official campsite anymore, but can they legally
Well, they
tell me I
can't.
cannot camp on Crown land?
They can't. Crown land is Crown land. It is that exact reason. You can hunt,
Exactly.
you can kill as long as it's not a game preserve or something. They cannot enforce it. If it's just regular, everyday, plain old Crown land, you can camp on it. You can live on it for I think up to 21 days. You can do a lot of stuff
Yeah.
on Crown land.
Which
Yeah.
Medora and Blueberry fall under Crown land, so they can put up all the signage they want.
Do they?
But
I don't think they do.
I really thought that was considered Crown land, those
That's
islands.
so you know. Those islands are Crown land. And if the MNRF designates it as no camping, they can legally enforce that. There are rules around camping on Crown land, and generally you are allowed, but it's not a blanket rule. So
Okay.
the MNRF has the authority to designate areas no camping, which they have done.
Any idea what the fine is?
No.
Okay.
well, they fined somebody out on Highway 63 a pile of money there about 2 weeks ago for
Yeah, they did.
being more than
Oh yeah,
21
but he had a
days there.
camper on there for like a very long time.
Yes, exactly.
And they found a lot of garbage. There was a lot of other things going on there than just popping up a tent for the night.
We're going to move on to item number 12 is the Blanchard's Landing dock and boat ramp. As you know, we've been pressing every year to have that dilapidated dock that was put in place probably 25 to 30 years ago. So we batted our heads against the wall so many times, but all of a sudden this spring, we got word that the park superintendent had reappropriated some floating docks from another location in his jurisdiction, and he decided to bring them to Lake Talon. So we have new to us, and actually they are in quite good condition, and it's actually twice as long as the previous dock. So that was huge. We really thank the park superintendent, Warren Verena, for doing that. The township of Bonfield assisted with removing the old dock and putting in the new ones. They did some very minimal dredging. So it really was at no cost to us. And really the Ontario Parks took responsibility for it as they should. It is within the provincial park boundaries, and they made good and replaced it. So we thank them very much for that. It was a huge win, and it does seem like it's getting more use there now with lengthier docking space and almost being able to use both sides. So we did not participate in any funding for that at all. Next item.
Brian, just quickly before we move on, there is somebody keeping a boat there on the, it's a older red boat.
With an old Nissan outboard.
Yeah.
And it's a Shimano boat.
Yes, I've communicated to that person by Facebook, basically. That person did acknowledge that it was theirs. They live in the area. They say
He's up the street.
Yes. So basically, I said, look, this is not LTCA business. It's Ontario Parks. It's up to them to decide what they want to do. Did encourage her to say, look, if you're tied up there, then somebody can't come in and use it. So I think they have made an effort to kind of pull it to one side. I saw the other day there was a boat on that side, and it was officially out of the way to dock there. But it will be up to Ontario Parks to put up a sign for the duration or whatever they want to do. But we're not in the enforcement business.
No, I know.
But
we have made
that person aware of what we think is the proper use of it. Short-term parking, unloading, and be on your way so that it's ready for the next person.
Yeah.
But obviously, they've felt that they going to take advantage of the location there. But obviously, they're getting out of the boat and pulling it up in the weeds in the last week or so.
Yes,
did you encourage them to rent a slip?
They have made that effort. If it'd be great if they move it just a little bit farther off the dock. I had to use that side of the dock last week, and I was my boat was touching their boat because I was so close, right? If they were over another meter, that would be excellent, because anyone can put their boat in the weeds, not a problem. But just leave enough room by the dock so that both sides are usable would be amazing.
Okay, item number 13, please, Paige. Number 13, KBRP. That's a new acronym for most of us. It's called the Kibascong Bay Renewal Project. That is a group that's the president is Don Paquette, who lives on Lake Talon Road. Nancy Humphreys is the secretary, and there's I believe 3 LTCA members are on that committee. I am not, but they are the ones that are advancing both the dredging of the immediate area around the dock and also second and third stages, possibly into the Talon Lake campground and marina area. Gareth Gummo, Chris Wally, and John Kelso Sr. are on that committee. Because of the need to do removal of siltation, there will be an environmental assessment required. Ontario Parks recommended a consulting firm out of Arnprior, Bishop's Water Incorporated, to carry out this study for the dredging, and they did various site inspections. They flew it by drone, the whole area. They took soil samples from the lake bottom, various locations, had them analyzed. Their report, I believe I was told by Nancy Humphreys yesterday that the committee has now this week going to receive the draft report. And so we'll hear more as to what's in that report shortly. To get that underway, the KBRP committee did not have any funds. So as a
Okay,
priority of
I
ours as LTCA, we decided to finance that at about $5,800 to get that study underway. And Ontario Park said because the first phase of this is within our park boundaries, once the report has been received and presumably the environmental study or application is submitted to them, then they would see their way clear to refund one half of the cost. And it was quite clear that that money would come back to the LTCA.
just
We decided,
clarify. So this is called Kybasgong Bay Project, I had no idea that water in front of Blanchard's Landing was Kybasgong Bay. I thought Kybasgong Bay was west of the Narrows and the weed bed.
technically, I would think you're right. I didn't play any role in naming the committee. I think they looked at it on a broader picture that it's all the material that does come into the mouth of the bay from various sources, including Talon Lake Road, Sparks Creek, obviously down the Kybasgong itself. So that's the name of it. So we expect to get later this year, early next year, we expect to get a check back from the province. To finance our part of it, we had a very generous donation several years ago from the Kalaska family in memory of Ed Kalaska, who was a longtime cottager resident here on James Bay. We asked Mr. Kalaska, we didn't have any particular projects at the time because we knew that number one priorities were replacement of the dock, and we thought that we would be involved financially there, and also the dredging. So our directors decided we were going to take that $2,000 with the approval of the Kalaska family and put it towards this project. So where it goes from here, they have several other people on the committee that are very experienced in doing funding applications. I believe that they've almost completed that. So I think they'll be going to at least the federal government to fund, I don't know how many parts. I see it as about 3 parts. One part being in the immediate area of Blanchard's Landing dock, the second being the main access into the marina where the gas is and a large number of boats. Then you also have the rear entrance from Kybasgong Bay to the back of the marina, which would probably be part 3. They did tour all 3 locations, and I expect that they'll make comments on that. So right now it's a waiting game, but it looks like it's definitely moving forward. The draft report is imminent if it hasn't already been received. And hopefully they'll get the application in for the environmental assessment for dredging, and we'll go from there, and also do the funding application. Any questions on that? Because that is a new project that we're involved in on the periphery, but not directly. John Kelso, I believe, is online here. John is past president of the LTCA and is adding his expertise to the committee. John, do you have any comments? Okay, anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, Brian, it's Alan Ross. I just had one question to clarify the math on this. You say that we paid 6,000 to get the study happening. 2,000 of that was covered by this wonderful donation from the Kalaska family, but that the ministry will be reimbursing us, say, $3,000, half the cost of it. So our ultimate outlay, not factoring in that donation, is about $1,000 from from our own funds. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thanks. I just
Including,
wanted to understand what our
yes.
input is there financially.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, I think we'll move on to the next agenda item. Water level management, my favorite, everybody's favorite. There's nothing really new to report. As Clint said, we all realized this spring was very, very high water. And then for the last 4 to 6 weeks, it's been quite low, but navigable. I did contact the gentleman that I've been dealing with the last couple of years. He did explain a couple of their difficulties, but then they've come out with this new system that I'm not to contact him directly. They put out a new email that you see, watermanagement.nbdistrict@ontario.ca. I never shared his email before, but he did say, yes, you can certainly share this email address. I know quite a few of you have communicated to that. Some of you have got replies, others have not. A lot of it is a copy and paste reply. We're within the parameters. We would like it a little bit higher in navigation season, but it's within the 9.85 to 10.0 range. So we're doing what we should be doing. My last communication to them was, and I've seen it even this last couple of weeks, I told them, and I think others have told them, do not be proactive. Do not remove logs based on a weather forecast. If it rains, then come and pull the logs as you deem fit, but don't remove the logs and put us in this situation that you have here for the last 5 weeks where they pull logs, the rains never came, and it's been consistently very low water. In fact, some people, wells have run dry. So that's the stage we're at. They're not going to change. I'm convinced of that. They believe that they're operating it within the mandate and with the resources they have. There has been some difficulties because I think there's much changeover in their staff where a lot of the logs were not properly tightened down as they have been in the past, and there was quite a bit of leakage. But I don't know what more to say. That's it. The water did come up very slightly after last night's rain, but we're still below the 10.00. I was thinking of doing a survey of all our members, but I know this is somewhat divisive because there's a good portion of people that like higher water and there's some people that like lower water. So it's not like it's unanimous that we all want a level of, 9.75 or something of that nature. So I can do that, but I don't think it's going to add anything to the debate. They're doing what they're doing, and that's a sad fact.
Brian, we do have a hand up by Steve Ellerby.
Yeah, I was just curious. I sent you those pictures a couple of weeks ago of the dam, and you emailed the MNRF. And thank you. You CC'd me as well as the owner of the marina and the owner of Camp Conewango. I never saw any reply from the MNRF. Was I just not included in the reply, or did they ignore you altogether?
I would have to go back on that. I think that's almost when they said that they're operating within range. And no, they did say that they're going to try to go back and use another technique on trying to close up the leakage. But that leakage has been going on for several weeks. So
yeah, it was not this past weekend, but the weekend before that I sent you the
yes.
pictures, including one showing the water about 12 inches below the top of the
Yes.
dam.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, thank you for CCing me on the email, but I never saw any response. So I was just curious if they're ignoring you as well.
I'll look through them again there. They get kind of jumbled up sometimes. But the last note I sent giving them my unprofessional advice to come after the rains, I never got a reply to at all. So,
Oh yeah, I suggested the same thing and they never acknowledged it.
yeah, yeah.
I did get a reply from them before and they just chose to not acknowledge that.
Mhm.
Brian?
I haven't talked to Dave Humphreys. I don't know how many propellers and lower ends he's had to fix. That could happen
I've
for a
seen
number
boats
of
run
reasons.
aground through the Narrows going between Capiskong Bay out to the
Um,
main.
he's lost two of his own propellers from his own boats that he uses at the cottages there. Um, he was telling us, me and Landon, and that was just like last week. That was within 2 or 3 days he lost those. So I'm sure he's lost more than that. And he was saying there's a couple boats he's had to do repairs on.
Is there anybody from Rice Bay? They must be. I haven't talked to Wendy or Chris up at Conowongo this year because of just the very shallow nature of the bay there. They almost couldn't even operate a marina anymore there.
We do have a hand raised by Darren Jackson.
Yeah, Brian, I think I already answered this question, but just a little bit further into the leakage down the dam. I haven't been down there at all this year, but first of all, like, have they responded like what they plan on doing, like replacing the logs or being, like you say, proactive in terms of getting ahead of the problem? Has there been any feedback in regards to that?
No, that nothing specific other than to say they were going to try a little different procedure, but I don't think it's worked. Obviously, I did
They
look
told me
back
they're
in the
going to try to
record.
tighten it.
Yes, I didn't realize there was more than one method to do that.
Yeah.
But the logs are about 5 years old. They did tell me 5 years ago that they brought them in BC fir from British Columbia. And they got a whole new set. Um,
What's the average lifespan?
I don't know. So that I know they were fairly expensive. I think $700 or $800 a piece. So.
Hmm. Yeah, I just
Well,
hope they don't put like a band-aid solution on a problem that's obviously bigger than a band-aid.
Yeah.
It's not like they're running a for-profit business here. They're spending tax dollars to maintain infrastructure. If it's broken, spend the money and fix it.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally justifiable expense.
Yes. I think the issue is budget. They're not going to come down here every 3 days.
Do we need
it's
the next
about a
email? Do we
once.
need to include like the MP in it? Like, do we have to go above them?
We've been in touch with Vic Fideli, who's a very senior cabinet minister, our MPP, and unfortunately, he just does the copy and paste too, and they're operating within their guidelines that were established 50 or 60 years ago. They may have been based on some kind of reality at that time, but as Clint says, siltation been going on here for decades in certain locations that make it very, very difficult through the Narrows to go up to Kaibaskong, both accesses into the marina. And when you get down to that 9 oh, the levels that we've experienced for 3 weeks there now, you're getting touch and go. You've got to watch it even at Blanchard's Landing, a couple 100 feet out. It's silted all the way out there. So we've tried everything. I hate to give up, but they just and of course this latest, I'm not even supposed to talk to the fellow that I've had a very good relationship over the last 10 years with their managers. But now everybody's hiding behind no name now.
Yeah, just a side note, I had to bring my tri-tune in about a week ago because there was so much sludge built up in my motor. My motor wasn't running right, and they had to completely pump out my motor, and there was just sludge built up in around the thermostat and everything like that. So, and I was bringing my motor up quite high, obviously not high enough. So,
Yeah, you get into any kind of silt, you're going to get your fuel pump with silt in it, and that
yeah,
little rubber impeller is going to be gone in no time.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think we'll move on.
Brian, we do have a raised.
I could do a survey if you wish of all the members, and I'll put some thought into that. If we could say that we've canvassed all our members and look at this 9.85 level. You've got to be higher than that as your minimum.
Clint does have his hand up as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Just an observation in terms of the leakage, because I've been on the lake since I was a kid, and there's always been water going between the logs. Like they're not designed to be watertight. Now, maybe there, in some cases, there might have been an obstruction where there was too much water going through those logs, but to me, it's pretty normal to have water going through those logs. My main issue with the M&R is ideally a 1 foot vertical is just a huge difference. And that's been the main, the variation in water levels has been a very significant concern for people around the lake. And of course, we seem to be stuck with that 1 foot vertical based on the ministry's resources and manpower. And in addition, with some of the extreme weather we've had some lake levels that went way above the high limit. And we also had lake levels that went below the lower limit. And top that off with the siltation, of course, around the docks. That's a different issue. For me, I don't think you can justify raising the level of the lake to deal with increasing sediment at the government dock and the marinas. That level of 10 that the MNRF targets, like right now, we're 2 inches below it, which is well within their operating range. So we need to adapt to that 1 foot because they're not going to change it.
Yes, I find it, I agree with you that it can't be watertight, but when you look at the photographs, why is it just leaking across between the same level of logs? Like, I could see if it was leaking a little bit on all the seams, but and then some of them don't leak at all. So, but it could be wear, or I don't know what the answer is, but
yeah. So
okay,
I mean, right now, as I said, we're sitting 2 inches below their target, which is reasonable from their point of view. Some of us would like it higher. Some of it are fine with that right now because high water causes significant erosion in James Bay. But so you can't win.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
We do
Brian,
have Scott Ross does have his hand up as well.
and it's Barry on the phone end. I haven't got my hand raised, so when Scott is finished.
On the meeting.
I'm just coming to say goodbye. We're going tomorrow. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just wanted to mention that, that I think that's why there's support for this potential KBRP project to clean up some of the buildup of silt around that area to take the pressure off of the water level discussion. So hopefully that'll be a good result. Go ahead, Barry.
I liked the earlier suggestion offered to the ministry, I think by Brian, and relating to the question of surveying the membership. And the part I liked was tighten the operating range, survey on that issue. And then if it's not divisive to tighten the upper and lower ends or the range, as opposed to recommending lower water levels or higher water levels. Let's get some consensus, see if there's consensus there. And if so, present that consensus to the ministry and copy the political parties involved. So I like that suggestion, Brian. And if you're going to do a questionnaire, I would say that's the one point that you could survey membership on. Tighten the range, yes or no. Thank you.
I'm not sure if Brian's back. In the meantime, hold on. Clint, do you want to talk about water quality testing?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
So we are part of the Federation of Ontario Cottage Association, and they have a program called the Lake Partner Program with volunteers who sample hundreds of probably thousands, anyways, tens of thousands of lakes, of which Talon is one. I do sampling starting in May and June. I train the students, and they do July and August, and I do September and October. I used to sample a couple of locations with cuts over the years. It's now only one. So I take a sample up in the Kibascong, or Kabascong, I should say. And the last 2-3 years, I guess Kabascong has always had, we look at Secchi disk, which is basically a measure of water clarity. And we are looking at about 2 meters roughly, or even a little bit less, depending. One of the key things that the water that they test for water quality is phosphates. And Kabascong has elevated levels of phosphates coming in from Lake Nosbonsing, which it's too bad Hayden's left, because Hayden actually knows that lake really well. But that lake is ringed by farms, etc., and has quite a phosphate problem. The latest levels online are, they've been trending down slightly. Over the last few years, it's been 14, 13. I think the most recent reading online is 2024, and it was at 11 micrograms per liter. Just in terms of the rest of the lake, which MNRF still samples, like for example, off of Grasswell's Point, it's about 6. So we're roughly double the amount of phosphates in the Kabascong, and that's been consistent over a number of years. Slight decrease, but nothing too significant. Brian, you're muted. I see Brian's talking there. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
So I need a clarification here. Is really clear water better water?
Yes and no, not really. Talon is a tea-colored lake naturally with the tannins in the water, which does affect clarity. It's basically Talon's a lake in the middle. When you get really, really clear water, it's there's not a lot of organic growth or weeds, or so, for example, not many fish. If a lake becomes choked with weeds, then that's the other extreme, right? So Talon is a lake right in the middle with tea-colored water, moderate weeds, and moderate clarity. And of course, more phosphates means more weeds. And that's generally not you pass a point of that being a good thing. So you want a certain amount of that habitat, but you don't want too much of it.
Yes, I think I have my volume there. There's no green algae that anybody's reported this year. I certainly expected that we would. Many other waterways have got a heavy growth of algae.
Yeah. Most of Talon, we're very lucky. The water quality is really pretty good.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 16 then. Thanks, Clint.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Algonquin land claim. Surprisingly to me, there's been no news of anything on the Algonquin land claim whatsoever. If anybody has anything that they could report on, but it's certainly not been in the news media. Okay, number 17 is FOCA. That is, we are members of the Federation of Ontario Cottagers Association. Is a great group. They do a lot of lobbying, do a lot of research, outreach, and every paid member of LTCA automatically becomes a FOCA member, and you can log into their website. There's various benefits you can avail yourselves of. You can get some excellent newsletters. Some of it is not relevant to our situation, but some of it is. Ken
That's
Davies has been our director that reports on FOCA, and he has provided a link to his report for this year. And it's
yes.
summarized.
This is Ken, and I had to embellish the report a bit by contacting um, other entities near us, such as North Bay Manawa Conservation Authority, to see what was going on there. And Township of Bonfield, which has passed quite a number of bylaws, which would apply to the lake, specifically the short-term rental bylaw. Because you're right, Brian. There's a lot in FOCA that doesn't apply to us. We don't have problems that they have south of us in the Muskoka areas with development and floating homes being placed on lakes and stuff like that. I did question the need for FOCA reports on an annual basis in the future, since so many of us now have full access to the FOCA website. And so maybe we could consider that over the winter as to whether you feel my reports are adding anything to what you can find on the FOCA websites. I've selectively chosen certain topics, but I have to admit in my 2-page report, only the first 5 come from FOCA, and the rest I've kind of brought in from other areas. And Cottage Life magazine as well has an awful lot of information that that applies to cottagers in general. So, I mean, I'll continue if people want me to continue on an annual report, but maybe it's not necessary. By the way, anybody who's considering a short-term rental, you need to get onto the Bonfield website, because the bylaws consist of 25 pages in length, and they are quite detailed as to what you can do and what you have to apply for in order to rent. And there are fines, of course. You have to have inspections done. You have to buy a license. You have to have insurance. And you have to provide parking. And you have to abide to noise bylaws, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hi, guys. Hi. I'm starting to shiver out there, so I'm going to move into the bedroom here.
So,
well, thank you, Ken. I'm glad that you mentioned the Township of Bonfield, the short-term rentals, because obviously we have a
I'm pretty good at the moment,
members
but
there.
maybe once the meeting's done, I might have a little whatever you got left over. That's great. That's very kind of you.
Clint, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was muted.
Thank you.
Here I am talking about food. My favorite hobby.
Yes. Yeah, I certainly, as I say, FOCA has a very good newsletter, a website. So, but Ken has offered to continue on doing a report on summarizing what he feels is relevant to us. But maybe we could go a year without it, and we'll see what people think. But there's not too many people. We're offering the ability to sign up as with a password and so on to FOCA, but I think there's only about 8 or 10 people that have taken advantage of it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yes.
There's also bylaws concerning having trailers on your property and storage bins and where they have to be located as far as distance from the water and whatnot. So with the new mayor in Bonfield, yeah, things are really moving along. And there's an awful lot of new bylaws. I guess they don't apply to us on the North Shore, which in unorganized townships, but it would be nice if we abided by them just the same.
Yes, it's quite controversial if you ever go on the Facebook group there for the Bonfield residents.
Yes, it took a lot of several meetings were postponed in order to pass those bylaws, but they eventually did pass them.
Okay, thank you.
I just would like to say, sorry, just to chime in, Ken, I really appreciate your reports, and I just want to be able to share that. And thank you very much for spending the time, be it from FOCA or other things like Bonfield Township, because I find it informative. And, you do work that I haven't looked into before, so I just wanted to say thank you for that.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, I'll continue to pay for and attend the online meetings at FOCA, and I'll write up a report. I'll submit it to Brian, and if he feels it's of use, then he'll can publish it. If not, that's fine.
I've always enjoyed reading them. As Paige says, it does summarize things that are more relevant to us than rather than some of the more southern cottagers. Thanks, Ken.
Dan,
Yes.
this is Diane and Don Wallace. We also appreciate your reports very much.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Item number 18. Marcia advised me that she has difficulty contacting some of these groups. I don't know if she's on the line or Barry could report there on logging. It seems to have been getting rather diminished in our immediate area, which is good.
I'm here, Brian.
Okay.
I'll give, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'll give a short land use report. Grassville has been very busy and well used this summer. I also noticed the lake was extremely busy all summer, including the boat launch. I contacted the M&R for land use report, but there's been no reply. They assured me someone would get back to me, but nothing. Champlain Park, I contacted. They're still closed. Found out that they're still, of course, cleaning up from the big storm. And they've refunded all deposits for people that had booked camping sites, and they hope to reopen next spring. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Marcia.
Okay.
Number 19 is our communications update. That's something we pride ourselves on in communicating to all our members. Facebook has been very successful. It's very quick. We can add photos very easily, and people can scan that. But we do get a lot of views each week for sure. We definitely still use the MailChimp, which you get the agenda, and I try to do a newsletter at least 3 to 4 times a year, communicate all the items that we're dealing with. And also, we still have our website. It does get some use, but I think I need to look at that again and see if it really meets everybody's needs and that people, in fact, are using it. Item number 20, septic pump out for water access properties. We have established a 5-year cycle. Certainly not everybody would go and decide to pump out their septic tank every 5 years because of just a partial year's use. But we found that that's working well. Some people go on a 10-year cycle. So next year is the year. Muskoka Septic Services from Parry Sound have confirmed that they will be willing to come back next year, usually in late September. I haven't got a cost. We get the cost basically before they come up, but I would think based on 5 years ago, we're probably going to be up in the $1,400 per 1,000 gallons plus HST. I already have 4 or 5 people that are listed, but I'll be communicating with all the 30 plus people that I have on the list, and they will confirm whether they wish to go ahead the next year or not. It's entirely voluntary. There is no government inspection. We're dealing with licensed haulers, but there's nobody that comes and says you must. It's your choice. Number 21 is our officers. I don't know if Paige has a poll. I was advised that we're supposed to reappoint or reelect our officers every year.
Yeah, that's part of our bylaws, and I do have a fancy poll ready.
Okay, everybody is standing for reelection. President, Vice President, Treasurer, Secretary, and the summer student supervisor. So if you could put that motion forward.
We have a mover and a seconder. A mover is Jane Bennett, and seconder. Anyone like,
Alan Ross, I'll second that.
thanks, Alan. And then the poll. There it is. Give about another 10 seconds. And we'll end the poll. It was unanimous. 19 of 19 have voted yes.
Thanks, Paige. Thank you, everyone. Item number 22, that's just to record the fact that at last year's AGM, we did approve a set of bylaws that are required by the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. We filed those, they approved our filing, and we are now compliant. So thank you to everyone that was involved in it. That was a major project. And we are now entirely legal as to how we're governing our business here. Number 23, signage at the Narrows. This has kind of gone back a few years. We did approach the ministry to say that we do feel that there should be better signage at the entrance to the Narrows towards Talon Chutes. We made a proposal. We actually offered to fund a portion of it. What we were looking for is something in kind of real time, so that when the currents were strong, when they pulled the logs out of the dam, that the notice would maybe even read "Do not enter, danger," or at other times it may say "caution," that type of thing. But the ministry flat out said no. So from that point on, we've nothing much we can do. So that is not a topic that we're now pursuing, unfortunately. Number 24 is hazard, wake, and speed markers. Many cottage associations have taken upon themselves to provide hazard buoys approved by the Transport of Canada, and they place them on their waterways. They place them usually in the spring and remove them in the fall, but maybe not in all cases. They keep records as to when they were installed, if they had to be replaced, and so on. We thought that that was something that we should undertake as a new initiative. We feel there's probably 8 to 12 locations, probably closer to 10 or 12, where they have existing, Javex bottles or whatever. And we thought we'd do that uniformly. They're yellow markers, buoys. We think the estimated cost is going to be about $1,800, $1,500, depending on how many we finally decide to go with. So we have had a couple of people come forward. Brian Belfield and also Dave Humphreys said that they could install the ones in their immediate area. It would be nice if we had somebody take that on, but I think we're still going to go ahead and order them this week, have them here for hopefully use for next year. And at this time, we're just looking at hazard buoys only. So we asked through the newsletter if there's any locations that are currently unmarked that should be, to let us know so that we can log them and determine, in our opinion, as to whether they're warranted or not. We're basically obviously looking at the, where there's navigation, where there's multiple boats going through, not just one isolated location, just going into a particular cottage, that type of thing. So is there a general assessment that we should undertake this? We've committed to do it, but if people feel that they're happy with what we have now, then something we could reconsider.
Barry speaking, if I could make a comment. From years ago, dealing with our LTCA insurance, the liability issue was mentioned by the then advisor from the insurance agent we were dealing with through FOCA, that it's a perilous task to undertake, in that if you don't undertake it every year, every location, on time, etc., and and then someone has an accident in the area that's no longer marked, then the liability is there for our association for failure to maintain the marker. So just, I don't know what the current advice would be. And also there was a very hefty chunk of premium addition to the insurance for that extra coverage, or for taking on that extra task. Same if you had if the association undertook more responsibilities, we're increasing our liability for every task we undertake, and therefore our premiums would be reflected accordingly. So that one sticks in my mind from years ago. I don't know if it applies today, but I would just urge, if you decide to go ahead, check the liability factor and the impact upon premium.
Yes, we did do that last year, and I think even last year for sure. I think I was surprised it was only about $125 a year, which I thought was very reasonable. FOCA Cottagers Association also promotes it, providing that it's done with these approved. In fact, they were the leaders. They went to Transport Canada and got kind of a lower cost hazard buoy approved, and that's the ones that we'd be purchasing. But yes, you never know what it's going to lead to, but that's why we have the insurance, and we'll definitely reconfirm with them that if we, before we order, we'll go ahead and get a quote. If it's reasonable, then we'll probably proceed. I know, for example, Lake Wanapate, I was reading their newsletter, they have 55 of them out there. Bob's Lake, I think some of them have 20 and 25 of them. So it is manageable, and records have to be kept, and of course notices have to be probably posted and circulated, that which they have wording provided for doing that. So I think it's something that we're definitely going to be looking at, unless the insurance say, oh, I think we're better reconsider this. But I know that they've covered a lot of other cottage associations.
We also
Any
have
other
a hand up
comments?
by Clint.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it would be good to clarify that, they go in on a certain date, such as the May long weekend or whatever date we decide is doable, and they come out on a certain date, and that's considered in the liability. And what the insurance company has to say about that. That was one thing. And the second one is, I'd be willing to install a couple of them and take responsibility. So.
Okay, and that's what we're kind of looking for, is somebody in, up in the north end there, Race Bay area, another in the main lake. And then Dave Humphreys said he would look after kind of Shields Point and down to the chutes there. So, if we have 3 or 4 people, I think they can be put together fairly simply. The ones they are yellow. They do say PRIV on them, indicating a private. It's not a Transport Canada supplied buoy. It's not in under their jurisdiction. It's just something they've approved. And you also have to have a contact as to who put them in. So in our case, we would have laketaloncontact@gmail.com.
Yeah, I also think one part of the lake, which of course tends to be shallow, up in McCool Bay, and that rock shoal that's up there, if we mark that and decide that it's worth it, that would be a very positive thing in terms of memberships up in that part of the lake, where we have fewer members up there because they already have the Rice Bay Association and pay for road maintenance and garbage, right? So it's harder for us to get them to sign up for another membership. So it would be something concrete for them to see.
Yes. Okay. Next item, our social media. I think everybody's well aware of that. I do get comments when we put it this way. Facebook is our number one. At the present time, I'm the only person that can post an article on there, but anybody can make comments thereafter, and they can also share it. That seems to be working quite well. I've seen too many other groups where everybody's posting, and it just gets like that. Bonfield Township is a good example there. Like it's wild there. So, but I do get contact by email or messenger, and that seems to work well. So I think we respond to comments, requests, and we have a very active social media. I just think our website, I just keep wondering whether we need it, but it does get quite a few views, so obviously it's there. Anything else on social media? Some people are Facebook users and some aren't, so that's why we try to do both. Newsletter by email and also Facebook. Some of them they duplicate, which is fine.
I just want
We
to say
have
thank
300.
you. Sorry.
We have 306 people on our email list. Some of them are 2 addresses per cottage or residence, which is fine. The amazing thing is we never get any unsubscribes, so I guess people are happy getting it. And I get a report back. It's amazing. We get a very high percentage that open them, so that's good.
So Scott has his hand raised.
Yeah, just one thing, and I'm just going to call Alan Ross out. Alan had mentioned that he might be interested in getting involved in the boy hazard maintenance. But I wasn't sure who he should begin the conversation with to learn more about it.
So you remember that conversation, do
Yeah,
you?
I
Great.
do. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was going to email Brian after this anyway, but yes, as someone in McCool Bay, I'm happy to step up and help in general, but also help particularly at the west end of the lake.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Alan. Next item. I think we're getting near the end here. Yes, this has been a very pleasant surprise. It's something we talked about for a year or so, especially set up Facebook page. It's not LTCA. It's been set up by Robert Poisson, and Paige Bennett administers it. It's a Lake Talon Community Hub, buy and sell. I think Paige, there might be almost 175 members now. Seems to be very useful in connecting people that want to give away things, buy things, sell things. So it's there to use, and it seems to get a lot of viewership. So I'm glad that we pressed ahead and Robert brought that to fruition here.
Can I just make a comment, Brian, about it? Just that second dot there. First off, thanks so much to Robert and Lorraine because you're the ones who set it up and helped to monitor it. Just to say to folks, when you have requested to join, there should be some membership questions that come up, as well as needing to agree to group rules. So that happens with most people. If you have requested to join but have not been approved, because I'm the one who does that, I will send you a message on Facebook Messenger. So check that app for a message from Paige Bennett. Uh, and I will say, hey, thanks so much for your interest. Can you please make sure that you've answered the membership questions and or that you've agreed to the group rules? And then once people do, then I can approve the membership. But it's just part of that accountability piece that we're asking everyone to agree to. And we're finding, what I'm finding is that, so sorry, check the Facebook Messenger app. And for most people, if you have been, I think, recommended by someone, say a family member has invited you, um, then they're the people who are not answering the questions and so on. So anyway, just have a look at the messenger or try again, and I will send you a message if there's still some pieces you need to do before I can approve you. Okay, thanks everyone. It's been really a positive response. Okay, on to the next thing then, Brian.
Yes, our 34th year. Before that, it was the Lake Talon Cottagers Association, or group, I should say. I don't know how long that was kind of incorporated, but then it did change in 91 to LTCA. Next year is our 35th anniversary. I think that's worth noting and worth celebrating for sure. There's been several suggestions as to how we should celebrate that. We welcome your ideas. Some of them have been have an in-person AGM or have an open house or two throughout the year. Our LTCA t-shirts and hats have been very, very popular. People have asked Hayden and Lennon where they can get them. At this point, we've always just the logistics of delivering them, sizing, everything else. It just hasn't kind of warranted us to decide to do that. Plus, I'm a little reluctant to compete with clothing that the marina is selling in Camp Conawango. Another suggestion was we do a major website revamp. So let's have people think about that, and we should get planning something. We should hear some suggestions after this meeting, hopefully, and maybe we'll put some ideas out there and see if people are anxious to participate. Any comments? Okay, let's move on to the next item. It's the time for new business, and we've pretty well every AGM we have something that people want to raise and have us look into or make a suggestion. So this is the time to do that. But of course, any time is the right time. You can make a suggestion any time. We can't always guarantee results, but we'll consider it and try our best.
Clint has his hand up.
I do. Just something related to Samuel de Champlain Park. Most of you are probably very aware of the destruction there. I thought maybe it would be a kind thing if LTCA reached out with some kind of communication to the park superintendent and staff, just saying how sad we are at the incredible destruction of the park, and hopeful that it will be they're working away like crazy and logging, doing salvage logging. There's literally tens of thousands of trees down. Something to the effect that it's wonderful nobody was seriously no one was killed in that storm, and that hopefully they'll be up and running again next year. Just to acknowledge that that was just an incredible amount of destruction from the storm.
Thanks,
basically a local tornado.
Yes, one of our neighbors in Greens Bay, for an anniversary, they took a helicopter ride and they circled over Champlain Park, and until you see that aerial perspective, it's difficult to imagine how damaging it really is in 3D like it was. So how they're going to recover, it's a great asset, but we'll just see what comes from the rehab. Okay.
We also have a hand up by Darren Jackson.
Yeah, I know it was brought up last year. Just thought I'd bring it up again. I do have a water pump down by the lake that I bought. I think I have 150 or 200 feet of hose. So it's accessible for anybody on the lake that ever has any issues or anything like that. I don't know if, even my phone number or something like that. Which on a side note, something I've always thought I'd bring up, and I know it's a contentious issue with Grasslands Point, but I've always been nervous being down on the peninsula that I'm on, and same with Clint by James Bay. it's been awful, some pretty awful fires there in terms of people down camping, and I think it's wonderful they're enjoying it. I just don't know if this is a concern for anybody, or I even thought of a fire break. I know it might be a bit of an eyesore, but a fire break to stop, I don't know, the potential spreading of a fire. I don't know. I've seen some fires down there that made me really nervous. So I just thought I'd bring that up.
Yes, we did have a fire there about 4 or 5 years ago on one of the islands that, fortunately, the local people in Page Bennett's area there come out to put it out. The fire, M&R fire people did respond as well. But yes, it's with this weather and the dryness and the fact there's no equipment there, it's definitely a potential hazard. I know here in Greens Bay and Shields Bay, I think we're now up to 5 pumps plus another one from the Heaney's that is available as well. So we probably have, I think, close to 1,000 feet of hose in about 4 or 5 different locations and 5 pumps and other equipment as well. So, but okay, Darren. So we had talked about that before. This equipment is unless there's people here to operate it, that's the difficulty, and of course mobilizing it. But we have enough pontoon boats that we could respond from here and vice versa. So it's very simple to put together a list of kind of the locations that do have it and whether they're willing to share.
Yeah. And Darren, you may, I'll just quickly jump in that there's another fire pump in my boathouse on the other side of our pointer, the back bay. Many years ago, we took up a collection and bought a Honda fire pump. And so that's in the boathouse right by the water.
Okay.
And I spent some time last summer and, redid the carburetor and got it running and working, and it's operational.
Okay. So we're well protected. I know Barry-Terrian has one as well.
Okay. Wow. There you go. That's 3 pumps in James Bay. See, the things that we don't know, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that just proves your point, Darren, that just have a piece of paper with the contact people and what they may have and where they are.
Brian, you were asking about whether the website was still something that was useful, and what we just talked about sounds like the perfect kind of thing that could be easily accessible to everybody on the website.
Yes, that's not achievable really by Facebook or any other means. No, it's a website could do that. In fact, I've seen on some cottagers associations, they actually, they have a very, we probably should have that at some point, a detailed map, and they would have the hazard buoys locations. They'd have where the marinas are. They would have other locations, maybe even fire equipment as well. So, and of course, where you can dock and load your boat or unload boat ramps, that kind of thing. So,
I was actually going to suggest that about the buoys as well, along with whatever schedule we decide to put them on, so that there's a common reference for it as well.
Yes, and of course the liability, not the waivers, but the terms, how they're out there and what you're responsible for would be on that map as well. Yeah, there's some other associations that are doing a great job, and we should try to copy them where we can. There's no use reinventing the wheel. So okay, let's.
Just one question. Out of Grasswell, would it be worth a few bucks just to leave a few buckets out at Grasswell? And I'm sure somebody would steal them eventually, but I've gone out there several times and there's still fires smoldering. I don't know if it's just laziness or if they just don't have a bucket to bucket water out of the lake, but would it be worth a few bucks just to leave some there?
Maybe.
Well, we could try it and maybe label them and see if they last, right? Because again, the students are there twice a week right now. So that could be something that they check. It would be an inexpensive purchase.
Actually, a lot of us have
worth a shot for the few bucks.
Yep.
I think I have probably just those big paint pails there. I think we could probably come up with some of
Some
those
free
were,
ones, sure.
yeah.
But LTCA, please don't steal, use for fire, or something like that.
No, we sure. That's a very small investment. We can get some decals and leave them there and put them on the pails and say,
Yeah.
okay, we're putting 3 or 4 out, and if they start to disappear, then I guess we've learned our lesson. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a hazard. There's no doubt about it. There's fires
Oh
going
yeah,
there.
down there, like fires are still smoldering and smoking, and people are long gone. Like that, it's ignorant. Like just put out your fire. Come on.
Yeah. Well, there's 5 official campsites. So 5 buckets, one hanging at each campsite, right? Labeled, and
It's not
we'll see how
crazy,
long
yeah.
they last. They might last. We might be surprised. They might stay there for the most part.
I mean, the little benches people have built, nobody's destroyed them over the years. Like, people could have ripped that down and put in the fire. Like, you know,
Yeah,
hanging on the
exactly.
benches that people have built, and maybe like honor system will pay off. Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea. Worth trying.
That's easily done. We can start cheap and go from there. I think I have a neighbor that's got a pile of pails here.
Marcia Pond, I just want to make one comment. I've been on the lake for over 50 years now, and this summer was quite amazing. About half an hour, we had the family of loons right near our dock, the mother, male, female, and the baby, feeding it constantly back and forth. And they stayed for well over half an hour within maybe 10 feet of us. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we're ready to adjourn.
And it's
We do have a
Sorry.
hand up by Steve Ellerby as well.
Well, my phone is open from Marcia. Can I add my 2 cents worth on a different topic, which is it any possibility of publishing a notice of a fire ban when it comes affecting our area? We've only had one campfire this year, and we had great difficulty finding a credible, not out of date reference to fire bans and geography tying it down to Lake Talon. So I'm not sure.
There is one from the ministry, and then of course some of the townships also have their own fire bans, like Bonfield occasionally does. So, but there is the provincial one, and I think I've done a couple of screenshots on that when it's a hazardous time.
Okay, good to know. I must have missed them, but that's great to circulate that info. Thank you.
Steve?
No, I still had my hand raised from that bucket comment. Sorry, I forgot to put it down.
Well, that was a good comment. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Paige, next. Do we have someone to move the adjournment of the meeting? I think this was very successful. I think we're all celebrating a very successful year with a good AGM, a good turnout. Students have worked well. Our finances are in good shape. We've tried some new initiatives. I think we should all be very proud of where we are, and I want to thank the directors and our members. They're very supportive, and let's have a motion to adjourn the meeting on that very positive note.
I'll move.
Thanks, Glenn.
I'll second it, Diane Wallace. And Brian, thank you for all you do for all of us.
You're very welcome. I enjoy doing it.
And I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna put a poll there.
Let's poll to see what people think. Here we go.
It'll soon be official. Okay, so there is a recording that will be made available a little bit later by Paige. It'll be circulated to anybody that wishes it. The minutes will be done, also circulated, and probably be. I don't know if there might be one more newsletter because we'll see what this bishop's water report and that initiative, if there's anything to report there. But if not, enjoy the rest of the season, and there will be a communication later.